Attention, light workers. Attention, root workers. Attention, conjure doctors. Attention, nature-based faith practitioners. Attention, spiritualists. Attention, diviners. Attention, prophets. Attention, the spiritually eclectic. Attention for those seeking the road less traveled. This is time-sensitive cosmic information, so you might want to catch this. This is time-sensitive cosmic information that you can use in your prayers, manifestations, and other spirit works. Beam up now via this video or the audio link in this video's description box to get this on the fly esoteric wisdom. Beaming up now. Ashe emojibatu Olodumare Bobo Egungun Ara Orun Bobo Orisha, for another day to bask in the goodness of Onile's sacred earth. Every day given is very special, and here are a few details, cosmic details, pertaining to how. I'm Ayansa JT Muse, and this is your early rising or your evening settling mystic forecast. Ekule. How's everybody doing this evening? I hope you feel as amazing as I do. It's 12 minutes past your 9 o'clock hour, Central Standard Time, or 6 a.m. somewhere in there for those of you who are catching this at the dawn. It is time for your nightly mystic forecast, and I am Ayansa J. Muse, the Black Madonna of the airwaves, and the sole creator of 222.9 the Mothership Internet Radio, bringing you the music, the mystics, and the mojo. And speaking of that musical mojo, that was music from This Masquerade, Johnny Taylor. He put a whole different stank on it right before I backed it up with George Benson's original. So you got the smooth and the rough side of the divine masculine energy on your Mars-ruled Ogun-venerated Tools Day. So, how did you put to work all the tools that Ogun already put in your hand to build and manifest? Today is a day of action, so I hope you really got it in. This masquerade is playing for those that are listening over the Mothership's 24/7 airwaves, because people see the video and they think this is just a podcast. Oh no, honey. 222.9 the Mothership is a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week cosmic mystic groove that preserves the old school music and bobs it and weaves it with universal esoteric teachings so we can be all one spiritual nation under a cosmic groove. So let's wrap up Tuesday real quick so everyone that's listening at 6 a.m. doesn't have to wait too long for the forecast for Wednesday. So let's recap it. We got 7 and 7 energy again today, and that means it's the 7th of November. Nov means 9, by the way, so why the hell is it month 11? Thanks, Rome. Anywho, 7, the number of completion, also vibrates on a daily numerology of a 16-7. Hence tonight's show title, Destinies and Completions Give Way to Sango Oya's Climax. Why? Because 16 is the number sacred to Orunmila, that's the Orisha of destiny. And 7 is the number sacred to Ogun, he who opens the roads, he who owns technology, he, the Orisha divine masculine father of civilization. And when you got those two working hand in hand, prepare for some miracles. But that's going to require some of us to call down Ogun to break those blockages in the roads of our thinking. Oops. It is the 7th number. There is Ogun's number of completion again. 7th of autumn equinox. And the 3rd of Scorpio season this Tuesday was, and the moon tonight is waning in the zodiac 6th house of Virgo. So loose and pliable. Yeah, I said it. Because see, Virgo was real practical about that work energy, and that is an amazing thing. But even good things can become bad things when they're not properly balanced. And this waning moon comes to teach us that even in the midst of all of our actions, yes, take action with the tools that are in your hand and do everything you can. But just remember to leave enough room for the spirit world to bob and weave and do its thing. And that's when you're taking action in alignment. So, I'm going to take a quick break. If you've been kicking it on the mothership all day, then you started out at 12 a.m. with some heart chakra sleep meditation so we can charge our inner green churches. And then we had your mystic forecast and we had divine masculine music all day long, right after your rising Bimbe to the Orisha Ogun. But when the clock strikes 12, those of you that are listening at 9, those of you that are listening at 6, hang tight. So when the clock strikes 12 and Ogun passes that time clock to Oya, and the masculine energy of Mars shifts into the heavenly communicator energy with Mercury with the feminine Uranus, and we reach the week's climax, we're going to talk about what Sango and Oya have in store for you tomorrow. I'm my Auntie J Muse, and this is your 9 p.m. or 6 a.m. Mystic Forecast on radio for the road less traveled. 222.9, the Mothership. Beam up. Green vegetations, plant magic, Ibasheo Gun, Ibasheo Nile, Ibasheo Chosi, heart chakra, jazz, voices of the fathers, Mars. Welcome to Tuesdays on the Mothership, 222.9. Beam up. Did you enjoy the work and greenery wisdom of the Paradopotis? Well, I hope you did, because now it's time to take to the skies on my Windsdaily blog, the Malbec Planetarium. That's www.poeticallymuse.org/Malbec Planetarium. That's POETICALLYMUSED.org/MALBECPlanetarium. Bet you won't join me there tomorrow to learn a few secrets of the quasars. Ashe. And we are back. So, in case you're just now joining us, I'm my Auntie J Muse, the Black Madonna of the airwaves, bringing you the music, the mystics, and the mojo on 222.9, the Mothership Internet Radio. So, those of you that are listening at 6 a.m., this is your Mystic Forecast. Those of you that are catching it at 9 p.m., y'all are a few steps ahead of the game. I'm broadcasting live from my Tweeterbird, my YouTube. So if you aren't already, like, share, and subscribe so that you can catch the nightly forecast every night live at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, as well as get sneak peeks at what's going on in the mothership's orbit and new classes that are available on my pin site. I'm also broadcasting live from 3 Facebook pages. My personal one, Ayansa JT Muse, the 222.9 The Mothership Facebook page, and my Windsdaily only spot, the Malbec Planetarium, complete with the matching Instagram 222.9 Wednesdays, and, of course, cruising the airwaves of 222.9, the Mothership Actual Radio, the audio experience. And from there, you're also listening to the smooth sounds of Cool and the Game's Summer Madness. Even though we're in the middle of autumn, I just like that song. It jams. So let's talk about this Wednesday, WINDS Day, Ibashe, Oya, Iyami. You know, Orisha tradition, many lineages venerate the Orisha Oya on Wednesdays. I was born on it twice. And other lineages, she rules other days, but this is the week's climax. So yes, Eshu is at day 3 of the week with the ruling sign of Mercury. So this is the turn up day for Virgos and Geminis. Aquarius is too, because Mercury's higher octave is Uranus, and that's where Oya sits on her throne, honey, bringing all those positive winds of change. And we've got pure white Obatala winds. 8, number of infinite possibilities. After yesterday's Tuesday's completion on the 7th, we move forward to a 17.8 on your daily numerology. And notice how on the days of November, these numbers are really aligned. Every time there is a number on the day of the week, it's the same add up numerology as the daily numerology, meaning it's October 8th and the daily numerology is 8. It's been doing that all month. I'm loving, 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 loving the alignment. But 2023 is a number of completion in itself. The 7 year has brought about a lot of completions and openings to bright and high new beginnings. And this is the 7th, so there's another completion essence there. Wednesday of autumn equinox and the 3rd Wednesday of Scorpio season. And a lot of patakis, Obatala, they say Oya is the wind and Obatala's white cloth. And she brings about the changes and the transformations that are needed to help us on our highest paths. Okay? Next Wednesday is actually Sango Oya's next climax, so I titled tonight's show wrong. My bad. This is pure white Obatala winds coming on this Wednesday, the 8th. Infinity, Obatala energy. And what is Obatala energy all about? Coolness, patience, humility. Combine that force with Oya's swift winds, you can't help but allow this climatic place to be a smooth breeze. I'm just getting this sentiment that this isn't the time to work too hard. Master what you have, but don't reach too far outside of yourself. Because see, Oya's magic is in transformation, and everything around you, everything in your hand can be transformed into something else. But you overlook that when you're constantly looking outside of what you have. Tonight's moon is waning in the 6th house of Virgo. So we're still shedding some of that overly practical pliable. It has its place, but so does the spirit world. And this is a space cosmically of manifesting miracles. So you can't be so practical that you not open up to receiving miracles. Because miracles are a mystery and everything cannot be researched. Some things have to simply be experienced to truly be known. This moon also calls us to explore more practical ways of purifying our energies, because in doing that, you're using Oya's energy of change to strive for Obatala's white cloth. I'm going to let you marinate on that for a minute. I'm Mayanta J. Muse. This is your 6 a.m., or 9 o'clock p.m. Mystic Forecast. And here, those of you that are watching on YouTube, Twitter, and my 3 Facebooks, here's what you got to look forward to when you beam up to the Mothership's groove on a Wednesday. Because you know this station runs 7 different rotations, right? Right. Ashe. Wednesdays, Mercury, Uranus, purples. Ibashe Oya, Ibashe Nanaburuku, maroons, exotic voices of the mothers. Welcome to Wednesdays on the Mothership. 222.9. Beam up. And we're back. So, in case you're just now joining us, I'm Mayanza J. Muse, the Black Madonna of the airwaves, bringing you the music, the mystics, and the mojo on 222.9 The Mothership Internet Radio. And this is your forecast, your heads up of what's going on in the cosmos. So, Wednesday is the day that the good book of Genesis said that the Most High created the heavens, the galaxies, the beings of the light, and said, "Let these be for watching signs of my prophecy." Don't look at me strange. I didn't write it. I'm just reading it to you. So those of y'all that think astrology is sinful, you're missing out on a lot of messages from the divine. So allow yourself to free your mind and your ass will follow. That's why I end every night's forecast with that quote. Because when you open your spirit, your flesh can't help but surrender to it. Because it's just that powerful. Ashe. Ibashe Ojoriru in Yoruba tongue, that is the day of confusion. Now, Oya does tend to stir things up, especially on her ruling day. But there's something you got to understand about Oya's stir. See, Oya doesn't stir up anything that doesn't need to be stirred up in order for you to grow. Especially when we're in Scorpio season, the season of the fixed waters. This is a season that we break up all those still, murky swamps that we've created in our spirits and souls and bring all those alligators and swamp things that are living at the bottom of our seas to the surface so they can find divine flow. And honey, nobody does it better than the Orisha Oya. Just don't make her be a tornado where she could have been a cool breeze. Ashe, ashe. So we got 3 planets still busting a moonwalk on us. We are still in Neptune's retrograde, and that's Olokun and Yemanja energy that deals a lot with deep memories, intuition, spirituality, and divine compassion. Okay. And if you are a Pisces, this is going to affect you more than the other 11 houses. And this is a tricky Neptune retrograde because all of its dates are multiples of 3, which means a shoe is in the mix. We went in on June 30th and we'll be coming out on December 6th. And what makes this retrograde so strong? Neptune is retrograding in her own strongest house, house 12, Pisces. And we are shifting from the Piscean age of belief into the Aquarian age of knowing. And that's what makes this time frame between now and the 6th of December very, very powerful. Why? Because Uranus is in retrograde as well. And we might as well get comfortable here, babies, because we're going to be in Uranus retrograde until January 27th of next year. Ibashe Oya, this is Oya's planet, because Uranus is intuition, where Mercury is intellect. Mercury is kind of like Neptune is the higher octave of Venus, right? Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. But Uranus brings about shakeups, sudden changes. And these changes are always pertaining to challenging our belief systems as far as our faith, as far as our practices. So as long as this planet is in retrograde, Expect things to happen that will challenge your beliefs, that will challenge your faith, and that will force you to live what you say you believe. And this is a very strong retrograde as well because, like Neptune, Uranus is retrograding in her own strongest house, Aquarius. So if you are an Aquarius, this is going to affect you more than it will the other 11 houses. And with these two planets in retrograde at the same time, as we shift from the Piscean age of belief into the Aquarian age of knowing, you get through these retrogrades by allowing yourself to surrender and completely be natural in your divinity. Allow your logic to lead where it needs to, but recognize the spaces where you need to be guided. Okay? Because a lot of people are ascending from within, and these retrograding planets have a lot to do with it, especially when you look up where your placements of Neptune and Uranus are in your natal chart. And if you need some help understanding that, then by all means, please book a session via the lovely Oya care package that I put in this video's description box, or I'm about to post the link to the entire 7-day orbit in the comment section when we go on our next break. One last planet that is in retrograde, Jupiter. Ibashe Shango Babami, planet of expansion. You know he expands things and brings in that luck. But when Jupiter goes into retrograde, that expansion becomes a principle of contraction. And we went in on September 4th. We'll be coming out on December 3rd in the house of Taurus. And this is a good retrograde, especially Taurus, bringing the riches and values from the Venus energy, which we know is an avatar of Oshun, but we get it. Be prepared to reap some miracles. Believe in your ability to manifest abundance just as much as you believed in your ability to survive the hard times, because it's time to reap the harvest. It's time to pop the bottles. It's time to celebrate spiritual victories overcome. It's time to celebrate just being alive, bobbing and weaving in the midst of all of it. But this retrograde does call you to reassess your habits, honey, because a higher level of life is going to require a higher you. Stay grounded in the reality, which means don't see manifesting big things as dreams in your head in the clouds and nothing like that, because your aura is very strong. So allow the possibility of abundance to be just as much as a possibility of your ability to survive. Why? Because the ancestors are ready. They're ready to celebrate, especially those of you that have been planting seeds of good karma. And when you've been planting those things, especially for a very long time, in the face of adversity, in the face of suffering, in the face of everything you went through in the name of doing what's right, go ahead and start celebrating now, honey, because it's on the way. On the other hand, if you've been planting them thorns and digging them traps and being one of them backbiters, hanging with the dung tribe, well, you're going to harvest what you planted as well. And may it inspire you to plant a more positive seed. If you are a Sagittarius or a Pisces, then this retrograde will bring you more luck than the other 11 houses. We are in the second decan of Scorpio season, which means that if you were born between the 2nd and the 11th, honey, you are actually half Pisces. And in the 12 figures of African spirituality zodiac system, we are in the season of the child of the word. Child of the word. Sounds like our foreshadowing me. I'm going to take a quick breather, and when I come back, we're going to get to your nightly or 6 a.m. tarot message from the Mayan Oracle. I'm my Aunt J Muse, the Black Madonna of the airwaves, and you are listening to 222.9, the Mothership. Beam up. Wednesdays, Mercury, Uranus, purples, Ibashe Oya, Ibashe Nana Buruku, maroons, exotic voices of the mothers. Welcome to Wednesdays on the Mothership. 222.9. Beam up. Before sight. Before sight of shells there were stanzas, stanzas of my soliloquies. Before sight of wisdom, before sight of worship, there was only my written word, Avoshe. Before sight of divination, before sight of Dafa, there were diaries, diaries in dozens. Before sight of revelation, before sight of reason, there were only my rhapsodomancies of rhyme, rearranged to rhythms of my lipstick-kissed alchemy, alchemies of my depths, my valleys, my mountains, my visions, my empathies, my testimonies, my joys, my sorrows, my love. Before sight of awakening, before sight of airwaves, before sight of anointing, there were archives of my allegories. Before sight of clarity, before sight of conversion and clergy call, there were collections of my ink prints. Before sight of prophecy, before sight of priestesshood, there was poetry, poetries that bear my fruit. There was me. Okay, and we're back. So, those of you that are hanging out in my Windsdaily Instagram, you get to just sit here and watch me talk, but you'll get to see this tarot reading on my exclusive orbit with a little snippet of it stuck on my YouTube. Those of you that are listening over the Mothership's airwaves, same goes for you. But here's where it's a treat to be watching from my Twitter, my YouTube, or my 3 Facebook pages. So, tonight's tarot message comes from my favorite of all of my tarot collections, the Mayan Oracle. And we have a number card with the number 12, which is 3 by 4. 4 is the number of foundations, 3 is the number sacred to Eshu, and 4 is also representative of the 4 winds, north, south, east, west. Ibashe Ariwa, Ibashe Gosu, Ibashe Ila Orum, Ibashe Iwa Orum. Ashe. So, this talks about complex stability. And the first thing that came to my spirit to deliver to you about this is that, yes, there's a lot of propaganda out there that's talking about how much harder things are going to get and how bad things are going to be in the future. Always remember that there is a universal law of duality, which means there is just as much positive going on in the world as there is negative. The positive just isn't as propagandized. So remember that with complex stability, you remember that all that you need comes from the heavens, and the Mother Earth has given us more than enough of what we need. But it's time to look at the difference between what we need and what we want. And with that, when you align your desires with absolute divine will. What you need and what you want become one and the same. So, stability is a matter of perception. And in the Ifa Orisha tradition, we practice a perception called Ela. And under the law of Ela, scarcity is an illusion because Onile put more than enough here. So, this is a message to relax and build on what you have and have faith in the future as opposed to fear. And I asked for a secondary message to that. Let me show this to my Instagram followers real quick. This was the first card that I read from Complex Stability. It's one of the number cards in the Mayan Oracle Tarot deck. And then I'm going to flip it over, and what do you know? Realm shift. So we're very, very clear that we're in the midst of a massive spiritual awakening. And as this realm shifts, we need not feed too much into the things that will happen with this material world, because some of us are here to manifest a higher reality. But that can only be done through faith and through belief in action. Or, like I like to say sometimes in my private conversations, we can't be divine and pathetic at the same time. We can't be royal and fearful at the same time. Sooner or later, one way or the other, one is going to cancel the other out. So either your fear is going to eliminate your faith, or your faith is going to eliminate your fear. I manifest that you choose the latter. There's my tarot message for tonight. Should you like a personal reading, then by all means, help yourself to the lovely Oya care package that I put in this video's description box, or use the comment in the pin site link in the comment section to book your personal reading. I'm Ayansa J. Muse. This is your nightly mystic forecast, or 6 a.m. for those of you early birds. Ashe. Ori, the Poetic Incantation, written by yours truly. I painted this a crown lavender for you. Listen. Ori, Ori, voice of the god, voice of the goddess, that slice of Olodumare in you, in me, the spirit, and all living things, Ibashe Iponri. It must be open, open to receive, the first womb in us all to conceive. Downloads. Obedience results in divine tales to be told, and a sight to behold you become. But the ego suffers marriage casualties, so don't run. Surrender, and life gets fun. So come, the sun awaits to caress your pineal. It gets real when your vision shifts. Your soul will sing Aretha riffs as your spiritual gifts get discovered. You'll love it, Ori. Ori. Ibashe Bonri, spirit of the consciousness, where thoughts and experiences nest, rest, processed and harvest perception, the body, the spirit, and soul's constant birth, death, and resurrection. Once erected, discern to protect it, become more selective. Humility keeps it open, open to correction, and you're a constant painted brush of imperfect perfection. Ori, Ori, the first mind. How 8th and ninth chakras connect to third eyes. And like owls, you'll grow wise. And the pigeons may despise, 'cause it may make you look pompous. But actually it's your compass. Through labyrinths, turn new neural pathways that irrigate your own ways. Oh, genius. Live and love the god and goddess embodiment and mean it. Ori. Ori. That light switched on from within, see. Those who seek union with their spiritual double tend to steer around troubles more fluently. Instinct creates distinction between intelligence and imbalanced thinking, and more easily visible are tricksters that come with booty shaking and eyes winking. Choices and actions switch the tonics you're drinking, and you're tasting the sweetness of molasses divine living, and you just shivered if this resonates. So birth the seeds that all your divine mind incubates. Shift the math, shift the math, shift the math, then recalculate a new totality. Ori Onire, that higher reality. Ori, Ori, Olodumare in you and in me. Assisted by the Orishas, speaking through mounted street preachers, forces of our natures, then life becomes a teacher, with blessings in tow for those who keep reaching, to beseech thee, highest you, the highest me. Raise the vibration and the world beams up collectively, so let's just be aligned with Impori, Iponri, Ori, Ori, the lock and the key. I answer J Muse, moon waxing in Scorpio. Ashe. From Headdress First, an overview and workbook for your Ori. The Art of Spirituality, Volume 1, written and produced by Ayansa J.T. Mused. Available now. See the link in my profile. Oh, and beam up to 222.9, the Mothership on Sundays at 3 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time to hear excerpts of this book infused with contemporary gospel and a smooth jazz groove, all in veneration to the King of the Orisha, Obatala. Ashe. And we're back. So that concludes our forecast. Thank you for joining me, whether you listened in at 9 p.m. or at 6 a.m. And just keep in mind, 222.9 The Mothership is completely listener supported and created by one person and one person only. Holla at your girl. All video aspects, all production, all 24/7 of the groove is created by your girl. So show a sister some love and become a supporting member of 222.9 The Mothership Internet Radio. If this mojo is feeding your soul, and I know it is because my gumbo is good. If you're listening at 9 o'clock p.m., then stay tuned for my Tuesday nightly vision of what love looks like. Brought to you by the Divine Masculine Fathers. Whew, there's nothing like when a good man sang to you. Anyway, if you're listening at 6 a.m., then please stay tuned for the rising Bimbe to Oya before we enjoy a divine feminine day of old school grooves from the exotic voices of the mothers. Either way, just remember, the sky is big enough for us all to be stars. And in the words of George Clinton, free your mind, your ass will follow. I'm Ayansa J. Muse, and you are listening to 222.9 The Mothership, Internet Radio for the road less traveled. Beam up. Every day is special. Why not find out mystically how? This is the forecast on your Mystic Music Haven on the airwaves, 222.9 The Mothership. Beam up.